Alejandra is a transgender Mexican woman who was detained for over a year by ICE. She escaped cartel violence, and when she went seeking asylum to the US borders, instead of receiving what she thought would be help, she was sent to an ICE detention center. Alejandra was sent to an all-male unit at the Eloy Detention Center in Arizona. She was surrounded by and housed with men, which is a scary situation for someone in her shoes. She said she faced sexual abuse and harassment at the hands of other detainees and that the guards did little to help her. The best they did was place her in solitary confinement. Alejandra was being held captive when COVID first broke out in the US, but the detention center placed little to no importance on COVID, even though they knew how fatal it could be. Alejandra reports that people were all cramped together with no face coverings. They didn't give us hand sanitizer or gloves, none of that. All of this was reported on by the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. Hello, my name is Manuel Alvarado, and today I will be explaining what ICE detention centers are, how they function, and why they should be abolished. The amount of problems that ICE detention centers have are astronomical. This story is just one of the countless which are to be heard. As you could see through Alejandra's story, these detention centers are not a place you would ever want to find yourself in. Just to name a couple of the issues which are most prevalent in these detention centers would be the lack of sanitation, the overcrowdedness, and their carelessness for the people detained. As if all of these were not horrible enough already, another terrible factor which is often overlooked is the fact that these people have no idea as to how long they will be detained for. The reason for this is because ICE has no limitation as to how long they can hold a detainee. As is, the US has had the largest immigration detention system of any in the world, and in 2016, when Donald Trump went into office, that only grew as he passed legislation to make these detention centers hold more power. As a result of Trump's administration, instead of moving in the right direction, these detention centers went from bad to worse. American Oversight posted an article on January 20th of 2021 in which photos of overcrowded children and adults behind metal cages and reports of filth, illness, and untimely death surfaced very quickly, which goes to show the sad reality these people are placed in. Even members of Congress confronted these detention centers head-on, but when they were there, they realized the situation was much worse than what they could have imagined. Some women reported that they were told to drink from toilet bowls due to the lack of running water. Other sites, like Time, disclosed that a May report from the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General found 900 people crammed into a space designated to accommodate 125 at most. This is another example of how little care these detention centers have for the people. According to this report, these centers are overcrowded by almost 5 times the amount than what they are supposed to have. Not only do these poor people have to be stacked upon one another, but due to the overcrowdedness, sometimes they have no access to soap, toothpaste, or places to wash their hands or shower. As we can see through the past couple of articles, ICE detention centers have horrible sanitation and do not care about the people. So the lack of care leads to illness and even death. In another article, Influenza in U.S. detention centers, the desperate need for immunization, which was published on February 27th of 2020, they found that since September of 2018, at least 7 children have died in United States Custom and Border Protection custody. Although 7 may not seem like a big number, these poor children should not be dying at the hands of government officials. In the case of Felipe Alonso Gonzalez, he did not receive appropriate antiviral medication after being diagnosed with influenza. This is just one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of stories similar to this one. Not only do these detention centers lack the proper equipment and resources to provide sustainable living for thousands of people, they also lack the compassion and help these refugees are in search of. A lot of the people who get sent to these places are simply in search of a better life, but they happen to fall into the wrong circumstances. Being sent to a detention center may not seem all that bad, but when you think about it, these people could more than likely lose their entire life here, because everything they have created will be for nothing. If they are locked up or even worse, sent back to their home country, all of their friends, family, possessions in the United States are for nothing, because they can lose it all in the snap of a finger. These people have to live in fear that they could lose it all in a split second. A couple easy solutions which you could do within the next 5 minutes are to sign or even create a petition against these detention centers. Not only could you sign up for a petition, but pre-formatted emails are also a good way to get the attention of government officials in your area. If a protest is going on in a nearby city, attending and being a part of it is an excellent way to make your voice be heard. So please, if you see a petition or a pre-formatted email, try your best to be a part of it. It does not cost you more than a minute or two out of your day, but it could save someone's entire livelihood. This problem isn't nearly talked about enough. I think I've only ever heard about it come on the news or trend on social media once or twice, when we as a society should focus on this a lot more than we actually do. I want to leave you all with one last thought. If that was your parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, or anyone else close to you, would you want them to be treated in the manner that these people are? Well, they may not be your children, parents, or spouses, but they are to someone else. So please, any chance you get, make your voice heard so that these detention centers no longer ruin the lives of thousands.